Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over. This is episode number 20. I'm joined today by our co-host, the one, the only, our co-geek, Jeff Blanchard. How are you, Jeff?
Good, thanks, Rick. It's, as usual, been a busy week. I've been busy this week rearranging my studio, so
that's always fun.
Goes okay. Yes,
that's
it's always fun.
I'm rearranging my home studio, put in a different PC in there now, brought one of the iMacs into the office. So right now I've got no Mac at home. I've got only the PC. So, and I have to buy another, I need to buy an mSATA for it today because I cannot take it anymore. It's taking 2 minutes to boot up. It's a fast machine, except for boot up. And the mSATA will bring it up in about 5 seconds.
That's the only thing that kills a Windows machine is just that boot up.
It just goes on and on.
They're very fast other than that, though, aren't
they?
And
Windows 8.1 does come up in about 15, 20 seconds.
Oh, that's not
But with
an
mSATA, it's about 2 to 5. It's just amazingly quick. And I've gotten spoiled. Every time I bring up Photoshop or something, it comes up literally in 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You hit the enter key and it's up. It's lovely. And right now it's not. So anyway, well, we've got a lot of stuff to cover today, but shall we do our intro?
Yep, let's go.
Here we go. And we are back. Well, Jeff, you've done a lot of product reviews this week or looked at a lot of different products. You want to start with one of the ones you've got?
Yeah, well, as always, I'm always a keen one looking at the internet to see any new items coming about. And one of the video channels on YouTube I do subscribe to is Fenchel and Yannick, I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's Maurice Yannick, who does a lot of reviews on... He did one on the C100 and pretty much on every DSLR you can think of out there. So they do a great in-depth reviews on there. And this week I saw he was doing quite a excellent little review on there's one called the Aperture 7-inch LCD monitor for a DSLR. Mm-hmm. And it was going for about $249, but it really caught my attention because it's the sort of thing that everybody's looking for, but there's so many about you're not too sure what to get, and
they're usually $500 to $600, which is quite a bit more than what he was selling it for.
Yeah, and this one is, like I said, had a 7-inch LCD screen with a resolution of 1024 by 600. So it's not HD. But it's good enough for the showing on for viewing on it. But what it does have is, if your camera doesn't have it, it does have the focus peaking and the zebra things on it, and also the safe area. So you can focus on it, and an excellent sort of unit to do when your camera doesn't actually do all that thing. And it does have the HDMI input. But the great thing with this thing I like with that price, everything you need with it comes with it. Like a lot of these little monitors, you get the monitor maybe $300, then you have to buy the HDMI cable. This one comes with it. Also, as well, see those magic arms. Have you seen those? Mm-hmm. That even comes with it as well. So you can attach that to your camera very easily with that. And the image does flip on it as well, so you can have it sideways, upside down, whichever way you want on that. And I did have a look on Amazon, and they did have it for $249. But it has a maximum input of, what was it, the 1920 by 1080.
Oh, that's full HD.
Yeah. And what I liked as well, our problem we've always said with any of these monitors, even with the cameras and anything, you can't see the damn things outside. But that comes with the sun hood.
The hood as well. That helps. That actually helps.
And
actually, I think we have a small video now. We didn't do the one that you sent us because that's somebody else's, and we're not technically supposed to do that. So, but we did find the official commercial video for it. Mm-hmm. So here we go.
Hi guys, it's Teddy from the A-Team here to introduce Aperture's newest 7-inch field monitor, the V-Screen VS2. Let's get right to it. So the VS2 takes all three normal video inputs, HDMI, YPBPR, and AV. It also works with the Panasonic GH4, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, and any normal Canon DSLR, even those modded with Magic Lantern. That being said, the V-Screen VS2 is anything but a normal display. Beyond boasting a 1920 by 1080p screen that supports up to 60 frames per second, the VS2 utilizes IPS panel technology, pre-calibrated color levels, and a hyper-bright LCD screen to make your monitoring experience better than ever. Got a DP, director, and camera team all trying to share the same display? No problem. IPS technology actually makes the VS2 screen viewable and consistent even when watching from 170 degrees off. Or maybe you're shooting design-heavy, color-sensitive work. Again, don't sweat it. Pre-calibrated pixels ensure that your colors are already and always dead on. And for a last touch, if you're shooting on a sunny day, we've got you covered. While most monitors only output 250 CDM of light, the VS2 glows with a brightness of 400 CDM. The VS2 also comes with an attachable sun hood, just to make sure your picture is always crystal clear. But here at Aperture we know, seeing your picture crystal clear isn't always enough to get your vision crystal clear. So here come the VS2's framing, focus, and exposure assisting functions. If you plan on cropping into your image, you can forget the monitor tape. Just flip on aspect ratio and choose from multiple framing options for an easy, picture-save area. Likewise, if you're unsure of the exposure levels, turn on zebra marking and animated stripes will indicate the exact areas that are overexposed. And of course, if you're unsure of your focus, flip on peaking and colored lines will overlay the edges of your picture that are in crystal clear focus. Next we get to the nitty-gritty, portability and power. The VS2 is thinner than the height of a coin and less than an inch wider than its 7-inch display. It weighs less than a pound and it comes with this waterproof, shock-absorbent carrying case. And inside here you'll find all of the accessories and storage capabilities of the VS2 storage kit. In here you'll find everything you need to start shooting. HDMI to mini HDMI cable, battery, in-wall charger, and a magic arm. As for power, though the VS2 comes with its own battery, it takes any of Sony's most common batteries as well. A single battery will power your monitor for over 2.5 hours, or you can opt for a larger battery with the same mount and power your monitor for 5 hours or more. And finally, just as you and your camera will change and get better, the firmware of the VS2 will improve for more functionality and compatibility with upcoming devices. The firmware is easy to update. Download it on Aperture's website and install using any USB flash drive device. So that's the Aperture V-Screen VS2. I'm Teddy from the A-Team. Make sure to like and comment on the video below, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out our website, and follow our blog for upcoming camera news and tips. That's everything.
That was it. The Aperture. I think I saw that word 3,000 times in that little 1 minute or 2 minute slot.
Well, that's right. You won't forget the name of it. But
No.
I still think for the value, because it's just got everything with it, even the battery charger, and the case. Because they're all the things that usually get you up to about $500 or $600, even if you pay $250 for a down monitor. But I think that's, and it's what I liked also. It did have the built-in speakers and headphone jacks in it there as well.
Right.
So,
It was nice. Now, I do wonder if the guy's A on his shirt was actually a beam me up Scotty kind of thing.
oh, well, so, a communicator.
It looked like it.
It did that. But I'm just not too sure. I've seen this brand Aperture. I just don't know what it is. If it's
They're actually pretty well known as a brand, so I imagine it's probably a pretty good. It looked like a good build quality.
And from all accounts, about the only thing that they said, if you've got the commands on the screen, that can be a bit distracting because they show ever so clear when your image might not be if you're out of focus and that's it. But once you get used to that, that's perfectly good. But I do like that one with the focusing because we all suffer from that. We think it's in focus because when you're outside, no matter how good your eyes are, you think it's in focus, but with the glare and that you can't see. But when you've got that color indicator, it really makes a big difference to be able to keep it in focus nice and clearly.
Right. It looks like a nice one. For $250, it's hard to go wrong. I don't know what the weight is on it. If it's really heavy or if it's on the lighter side. Do we know if it was LED or LCD?
I think LCD.
So it might be a little bit heavier, but shouldn't be too bad.
But then that's why they give you the case so you can carry it around, so nice and easily.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I like that.
But I think it's worthwhile looking at because, but I like the size as well because a lot of them around that price are not the 7-inch. They're usually a little bit smaller, aren't they?
No.
So.
Now, if you want to spend $2,000,
Yes.
and who doesn't? I mean, come on, let's face it, who doesn't? For $2,000, you can get the Atomos, ATOMOS, Shogun. Now, that is a 7-inch display, but it has SDI in, SDI out, HDMI in, HDMI out, and it can record in ProRes 422 and other things. It's pretty amazing. It costs $2,000. It has multiple batteries. It can do long time recording, and it's pretty light. That is the latest one from Atomos, and don't have it yet. Maybe at the end of the year. Not sure, but it just came out, I think, last December, and it looks interesting.
But as you said, that has the recording in it as well, does it?
It records, yeah.
It records, and that's a big difference, I suppose, on that. But and then that doesn't sound too
And I don't know if it's full
outrageous.
4K. It may be.
But
So,
it's a thing like these days, whether you like 4K or not, it's the sort of thing that people seem to have to be
Right.
producing, or else, like, I don't know about you, but if you're spending $2,000, even if I don't want it, I want it to have 4K, even
Right.
if I'm not going to use it.
yep. Yeah, well, I just bought a new video card for a machine we're kind of refurbishing a little bit. Upgraded from an old 460, a GTX 465. I put it in the brand new GTX 970 with 4 gigabytes of memory, and boy, is it fast. It's pretty amazing what a difference 4 gigs can make to 20 kind of scenarios. So, of course, I play an old game on it, something like Flight Simulator, which still does a lot of calculations, but it doesn't have the complexity of some of the new stuff. I think I may have some of the new. I may get one of the new games just to test it, because nothing else is 4K.
Remember in the old days when we used to get the faster machines, but the software
Was slow.
never wrote them right in the correct way. So if you got the super duper fast machine, you couldn't play the game because it would go that fast. You couldn't see what happened.
That's true. That's true.
See, because they never even built
But
that
the
in, so you
problem
get
with the
something really
4K
fast.
is not everybody has 4K monitors. They're getting cheaper. You can buy a Samsung for about $549. You can buy the Asus for about $650, and they're true 4K and they're beautiful. But you got to spend another $650, $400, whatever. We've got a 4K monitor over here next to me, and but we're running it in 1280 mode only so that it looks the same as what we're showing, just so we don't have any confusion as to what that is. Now, you had another product you were reviewing.
Well, I was just looking at another thing. I was just hearing it was a little video I saw from The Verge, and I keep my eye on them because they do quite some good stories out there. And they was talking about, and I just wanted to ask you if you'd heard about it, this binaural microphone. Had you heard about that before?
Not that one in particular. I'm familiar with binaural waves, and a binaural wave, they're interesting because they can be messy. They can mess up your brain. They can be good for your brain. I mean, a lot of times they use them in meditation tapes, relaxation, soundtracks to put your brain, the brain frequency, into a delta brainwave, a theta brainwave, alpha. So they can really affect the way you perceive things. In fact, I tried an experiment years ago with one of, I think it was Kelly Howell. I think that was her binaural wave thing. And it worked really well. The problem is it would take my brain out of the right frequency at the worst times.
Oh.
So I'd be driving my car. I'm stuck in the middle of the road, ready to make a left turn, and I'm gone. I'm half asleep.
Yeah,
And somebody honks me. I'm like, what happened? But that was actually and I talked to a person who did neuropsychological testing, and I said, hey, do you think it's the binaural wave? And she goes, oh yeah, absolutely. You're putting yourself into a brain state where the brain can't focus, because that's really a sleep state. And even though you're out of it, technically after you do the 40-minute relaxation, it shouldn't happen anymore. But in some cases, I'm fairly relaxed anyway, it would take me way too low. And I guess I didn't come out of it fast enough. It was an interesting experiment, but very dangerous. I went through a stop sign and almost fell asleep literally not asleep, but you're kind of out of it. I went, oh gosh, this is not safe. So I never did it again. Not for anything I would be driving with. And I have tried some other binaural CDs or files that weren't bad, but they were different. You only to do with them at night before you go to bed.
Well, this one.
Now this records binaural, right?
Yeah, and because there was all mentioning in that it's been, it's not a new thing. It's been around for centuries.
Yes.
This thing, but what they were doing was, the microphone. These microphones were sort of like designed like ears to get the sound in differently, and it has a great little YouTube when you must have your headphones on to hear the difference. But better than 5.1 and the Atmos type sound, but it was just quite incredible. I just thought the sound of it. I thought it was a joke at first, to be quite honest. You know how you look at something on the internet and you think, "Oh, these microphones have got they had the big, the wind socks on these things, and they took them off, and they were it was like a human head with ears on it."
And maybe they were human ears. You never know.
And then they had another one, a concert, where they put that in the middle of the concert and getting that all round like the 360, like the human ear. Hears it. So I just thought it was quite an interesting.
So what we need to tell everybody is we have the video on that. So we have a video on that. So what we're going to do is tell everybody, put your headphones on now. Close your eyes.
Don't make sure you're not driving.
Don't move a muscle. All right, here we go.
If you're looking for a vocal dynamic microphone, the PG58 is the entry-level Shure vocal microphone. Professional quality for a very affordable price. The legendary SM58 is a step up from the PG58. The SM58 must be the most loved and recognized microphone on the planet. Last up, the Beta 58, first choice for professionals worldwide. The highs and lows of the PG58 are emphasized, resulting in a very rich and warm sound. The SM58 has more presence in the mid-range, allowing your vocals to cut better through the main mix. The Beta 58 has the most punch. Also, due to its extended frequency response, the Beta 58 has more high end. Handling noise in the PG58 is relatively audible. The handling noise for the SM58 or the Beta 58 is far less audible. The PG58 and the SM58 have a cardioid polar pattern, whereas the Beta 58 has a supercardioid polar pattern, resulting in less feedback. Looks like all three microphones survived the hammer test. Even after all of that abuse, they still sound the same. And the Beta 58 still looks almost new. I can't tell you what microphone's going to be best for you, but I suggest you test it in the rehearsal room, either by yourself or with your band, and make sure you're happy with it.
You know, I have the perfect application for that microphone.
Yes.
I could actually give it to my wife and say, talk to me. She'll think it's me and talk nonstop to it, and I can go off and do other things.
That was quite exactly. So that moves on to one of the other ones, because I've just picked up that PG58.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I just picked that up because it's only about $49 here, and it was quite good. That's why I sort of put a little thing in the show notes, because I just picked up, the other week a new keyboard. It's got a microphone input, but it does so many things with the voice and with singing on it. So I just needed a cheap microphone to go into it, and of course I love the Shure, so I thought I'm not going to get a cheap $10, $16 one. So I wanted to get one, so I picked up the PG58, and then I looked at that video, and I was quite surprised that it passed the hammer test. And
Yes.
But it is quite a solid one. But I thought they do a damn good microphone for just $58. And that did come with the XLR cable, and that, so I didn't have to do anything else with it. And with a vocal microphone, you don't want anything that picks up too strong in that, but it does quite a good
and
job.
$50 is not bad. I have some Shure that are cheap. They're about 40, 50, and they sound pretty good.
And he did a good test on there with about 3 different ones. You could hear the difference, but for the difference in price for what I wanted it for, that does a real good job.
So what we were looking at was the Shure video.
Yes.
Oh, I thought we were looking at that binaural one. That's not the binaural one.
No, that's why that was the Shure video. So, no, the binaural one was probably going a bit too long to show. I'll put it in the show notes when we finish for people to have a look, because it goes for about 5 minutes, but it's a bit too much probably to put people through for that here.
Okay.
But that was sort of the one to go and have a listen to later. But as I said, with that Shure one, I was just really impressed with the sound quality on that. I might use that next week. Just do it on the show one as well, because it will plug in there, and hopefully next week I should have my.
You have to make sure it has enough gain, because sometimes they don't.
No, they don't. They don't. But I thought if I've got enough thing with it to be plugged through for the PreSonus, and that's how it should get there.
That should
as
get
well.
enough. Yep.
I don't know if you noticed, but from my previous shot, I'm a bit higher now, because during the last segment, my chair just went down by itself, and I was just peeking. My nose was just peeking at a lot of things, and I thought, I look like I've just shrunk on the screen, so I just put my chair up while
and I thought you were just being humbled by Larry that time.
That's all right. I must thank Larry again, because I really did enjoy him speaking to us on that. But the only problem I find now with the digital production buzz, I like to listen to it in the car, and then I feel compelled to go and have a look at what happened as well, and which you do when you get both of them on there. Yep. So
now, we were having this discussion at work the other day. Don't you think it's too dark?
What's that?
His show, the digital production buzz.
I haven't seen that. Well, one thing, I've only seen a little bit on the first one. Haven't been able. I've listened to the shows. I haven't seen a full one. I've got to see that this week. So
okay, take a look and see. He may have changed his lighting this week, but I thought last week it was clear, but it was dark. It was on the dark side, which I thought for an interview show was a little darker than I'd like to see it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll have another look, because as I said last week, I listened to had the show, but with being over here, it comes out Thursday evening, so right. I don't think they put the video up until about Saturday or Sunday.
Now, Jeff, you realize that was a leading question. That's your typical interview leading question. Jeff, didn't you think that was rather low on the lighting?
That's right.
So you primed the person for the answer you were expecting.
That's right. That's right. But as I said, there's so many things in the video production, and I think with that, when you go from just a podcasting show to a video, there's so much more to consider, because you can't just sit there looking at your notes and reading them. You've just got to look at the camera, and there's a lot more to. You've got to dress properly as well for it. You can't.
That's
just
true.
In your tracksuit pants and your t-shirt.
Well, Larry always looks good.
Yeah, he does, and it always sounds good. I also get a lot of value out of his co-host as well. So is it Mike Horton?
I think it's Mike Horton. Mm-hmm.
Mike Horton. I reckon they do well together, because some of the comments he makes, and that it's really fun. It really keeps the show going. I really do like that. So
no, that's good.
I also saw this week that the Adobe updated Muse as well. We had a slight update.
Yes, and I have that update. In fact, I got it. I didn't realize they had update. It just so happened I got in that same day they were doing the update, so it got updated instantly. And they're adding more and more features from InDesign. So you've got features where you can do now typography. You've got superscript and subscript, and you can do, I guess, reusable text in different places.
And that's what the main part of it. But I think it's like when they said, like the Final Cut 10, when it was first released, it was okay, but it didn't have everything. It's the same thing with Muse.
Yes.
Dreamweaver, and they updated Dreamweaver, but Dreamweaver has everything a coder could ever want, and you can do 1,000,001 things. But somebody like me, it just loses me. It's just too much.
And I frankly think I'd rather do something like Muse than Dreamweaver anyway.
I do too. I just love the design, but it's got that InDesign feel. But you can see eventually that will have more and more features, and there's really not a lot missing from it now.
No,
but I think
no.
it's more so the people who are going from the Dreamweaver world want more control. But that's the whole point of Muse, I think, is to take away all the responsibility from you, so you can just design.
Right.
You
Now,
can put
have
something
they
there.
added, I haven't tested this, have they added native video support? Because they didn't have it immediately. You had to embed it from somewhere. Do they have the ability now to run a video without having to do a lot of work?
No, I don't believe
No.
they have yet.
They gotta get that. That's really a crucial component that's missing.
Yeah, because that's what I want to do. Because I want to be able to. I don't want to just embed a link to YouTube or Vimeo. I want something that's in the site, maybe just a little one
Right.
that I've uploaded, and to be able to do that. So, you can use the iframes to refer to.
Yeah,
some
those
on the
work pretty
site.
well. The iframes are great. You can embed a whole site in one of those iframes.
Yeah, and I've done that in my site. Not that I wanted to, just to say I could do it. And so
Right.
I did a bit of a blog and did that into that, so it looks like it's part of my site.
Yep.
But and that's what I really like with Muse. If you ever look at my site, every little bit of that is me. Whereas my Dreamweaver
Right.
site, when I did that, it was a template because it was just too complicated. I needed help.
Yep.
Where I really like with the Muse that everything I did on that, it might not be the best, but it is all me, and that's the whole point.
No,
of,
you did a good job
using
on your
one of
website.
these things. And but I want to keep, and then I keep updating when we have the shows. I update that in there, but it takes me, 5 minutes to put
I know.
a new thing in for the show, the update. Whereas in Dreamweaver, that would have taken me at least an hour by the time you sync the files, do this, do that, and it's just so much easier. And also, one of the features I liked was a little feature they included in this update of Muse was just double clicking on the magnifying image, and it'll just give you the
Right.
whole page view. Whereas before you couldn't, you had to just scroll down. So if you had a big long page, you couldn't see the total
Yeah,
thing.
no,
on
they're
that.
adding a lot of good stuff to Muse, and it's interesting. We used to use years ago NetObjects Fusion, which to me looks exactly like Muse, and I keep getting emails from them, and I'm just not interested in it. Muse does everything they do, and it's supported by Adobe, so you've got just more support, and so I'm pretty happy where we're at. Now, I'll talk about one thing, and these are mini PCs, micro PCs almost, if you will. They're very small. If you've seen a Mac Mini, actually, I have the iPad Air here. This is bigger than those micro PCs.
It's bigger.
It's bigger. It's amazing how small some of those are. And we are talking about, and I think we have a picture of it, the Gigabyte Bricks, BRIX. Now, is this the gaming one? Yes. This is the gaming Bricks. This is about, I think it's about $900. Maybe it's $1,200. I can't remember. But these are small. It looks like a big little box there. It's probably about 6 inches by 4 or 5 inches. And they're about maybe 3 inches tall at the most, 2.5 to 3 inches. And that has an i7 processor. It has 16 gigabytes of memory. So you got more than you need.
Yeah.
And that one comes, I believe, with the NVIDIA, a full NVIDIA 760 processor, GTX 760, with 2 gigabytes of RAM. That's a fast card. In fact, we have that same card with 4 gigabytes on the machine under me, which is doing the broadcasting. They're amazing little machines for less than $1,200 or $1,000 in some cases. So you've got a machine that's got an i7. They also have other models that have i5s, i3s, and some of them even have built-in IBM Iris 5400 Pro video cards. So that's built into the motherboard. They're fast. It comes with wireless AC adapters. It also has Bluetooth control, as well as I think it's 4 USB 3 ports, a display port, so you can run literally 3 monitors on the display port, and an HDMI port, so you could run at least 1 monitor on that one. So you could have up to 4 monitors on this.
Gee, that's
in that
I'll tell
little
you,
box. Now, there are some drawbacks. They said they are a bit noisy with fans, a little bit. Some people said not a problem, other people complained. So it's probably in between noisy. But the thing is, that's a great place, and they're built also as TV consoles, so you could actually connect your TV and use it as a game console or use it as anything else. For $900, you get an i7 with the Iris Pro 5400 video card, 16 gigabytes, and that will run just about anything in the Adobe Creative Suite, Windows, Office, everything. In that little, and that's even smaller. That's like half the height.
but the thing is with that, even if you said they're maybe a little bit noisy, they're small enough with the cabling, you could stick that down, but you don't need it close by either. So it's not
In
like
fact, it comes with a VESA mount.
Yeah,
And
so
I was going, now, why does it have a VESA mount? And interestingly enough, people hooked them up to the back of a monitor.
Oh.
So instead of, if the monitor's on a stand, they put it doesn't weigh anything. It's like 2 pounds. Though I think the one you saw, the one with the red case, that was 4 pounds total.
Yeah, that
Total.
looked like a little bit bigger.
Because it's got the full, and that's half of that's probably that video card.
But so would that hook? That just hooks up to a separate monitor as well, doesn't it?
Yes.
So the
Up
HDMI
to four monitors.
and the standard.
Oh, and by the way, 4K output.
4K output.
4K
as well.
output. Mind-boggling.
That sounds like a one I'll have to get because it just looks
now,
very
now
nice.
they come
as
as what are called bare bones PCs. So you get in the I think in the video one you do get the video card, you get the chip, the i7 chip, but you have to put in your sodium memory, so your 16 gigs max of memory, and you have to put in. Was there anything else you had to put in? Your hard drive, or by the way, they come with. Some of them come with a 256 gigabyte SSD card. You can also get a 1 terabyte and add them on extra, or you can do an add-on of a 2.5 inch SSD or hard drive. So you could do 2 drives inside of it, SSD cards. That's a lot of functionality for a small little unit like that.
And where are these? Are these available yet, Rick?
Yes,
Are they on
they've
the
been
market?
available. This is second generation. They've been out for over a year.
I haven't seen.
I only
them
heard
before.
about them about 2 weeks ago.
It's amazing how many things are out there that you just think, how did I miss that? 'Cause
Yeah, it's
you're
almost
looking-
like Gigabyte didn't really do a heavy promotion on it, but we saw it at Fry's Computers, which is a component place out where we are, and there they had them. They had them behind this locked case, but they were the bricks. They were about 4 or 5 different models.
And the way PCs are going these days, there's not a lot, when you need to upgrade, there's not a lot you can actually do to them these days. So
No.
you get another box that it doesn't need to be big like they used to. So
No, and I think that may be the trend of the future, to have smaller boxes that can act as consoles, they can act as desktop PCs, you can put them behind a monitor, attach them somewhere. It's pretty cool. So you can do all sorts of stuff with those without having to spend a fortune.
And that's the next best thing. I think that's much better than having, like, I know I like my iMac, but I'm not too keen on everything all in one.
Right.
I like the PCs as a separate thing
Yeah.
for some reason, and that's what would be good. Then you can just move, you upgrade your monitor, and you can still have your little box. What's it called? Kix, is it?
Bricks, BRIX.
I'll have to.
And
have a
that's
look
the
at that, 'cause
Bricks
it looks-
Pro. They're awesome.
Yes.
They're awesome. And Gigabyte, I believe, is Taiwanese. I'm not sure, but they make good components. We've got a lot of our computers that we build in house. We use the Gigabyte boards. We've used MSI boards, but Gigabyte boards are good. They do a really good job, and I think it's clever that they're coming out. There are others out there, and you could build one of your own, because you can buy a small motherboard and then add your own components to it, make it more powerful.
Yeah.
But this is a almost completely finished solution, so you don't have to. They only cost about $500 to $800, and then you have to add your memory, which is another $130 or so, and maybe a drive. So you figure up $1,000 out the door or less. You've got a fully configured, either gaming or desktop PC that can do just about everything you need, with 4K output.
And so you said you had it saw it at Fry's, but Fry's, do they still have a big business in the make your own? Because
Yes.
I know the last time I was in there was a huge section on
It still
buying
is.
fans, hard drives, cases, and lots
Yep,
of things.
people,
there.
they buy a lot of do-it-yourselfers, and they do a lot of their own repairs. They buy fans. It's amazing how many people build their own machines, because frankly, if you're going to buy an Alienware, a gaming machine for $8,000, you can build it for $2,000.
Yeah.
So why buy theirs? You can build one just as good or better with even better looking cases just by making your own. And a lot of the people mod their cases. So after they build it, they add their LED lights and they change and paint things and change the colors. So you can do all sorts of stuff with these. And as a result, you have anything you want for a lot less than if you bought it pre-made.
Yeah, because I think if you've got a little bit of skill, it is still a good thing to do to build your own, because you can get exactly what you want.
Yeah, or like we hire a techie for $150. He builds it, and guess what? We're done.
So I suppose there's still the market in each place. I still don't think you'll ever get rid of the build your own.
No, because most people don't want to build these.
That's right. But for people like yourself, for in business, you've got a specific need for it. So none of these all-in-one does everything you want, whereas you just need to build that extra thing into your own box.
Yep. So let's see. Do you have any other products that you want to review today?
No, I didn't have anything there. I just was commenting. I put on my notes on that. I saw with interest at the talk. There's a lot of talk about Apple and a car, an automobile.
Yes.
And I just think, is that
true that they actually they bought them, or they're looking to buy them?
Yeah, well, it keeps one saying, Apple to buy, Tesla, and I thought, well, that'd be. Well, so well, and in the article it did say, well, Apple would probably be about the only one who could afford to. But then other people were saying, well, why would they bother? Ford makes so many billions in sales but don't make much profit, so why would you want to?
Well, that's only because Ford has unions, and they have to pay a lot of money to the unions, so that's a lot of their costs go to the unions, not really to the technology. So that's kind of a half and half, that the cars aren't really that expensive, it's the cost of labor.
But then again, they said it could be one of the things that they're going down, because where the Apple have the Sapphire plant in Arizona, is it Arizona where they've got it, and they're going to redevelop that as a data center, and spending about $1 billion on that. So they said they're making it out of green energy. They will have wind farms to power it and all that. So. You never know, but that's the thing is with...
well, Apple does have a lot of hot air, so they should be able to do pretty well.
But that's what with Apple. There's you just don't know what's coming out of there. But then people, like everybody, likes to talk things up and say they know what's going on, and they won't deny or confirm anything, so people can really say anything.
Well, Apple's funny because their marketing tends to be, we have the best and the first of everything, even though they're usually copying somebody or running behind somebody, especially in phones and other things, but they always make it look so good when they show it.
Well, that's what somebody else said if they went into an automobile, it'd be they'd be going into something new and a fresh area for them. But they said they very rarely do that. They usually do if somebody had an electric car or something like that was top notch, then they would take it and perfect it.
Right. Well, what they would do is the Apple car would have 6 tires. You can't change them. You can't upgrade them. It only has one steering wheel, one color. There's only one paint color, but there will be 2 colors coming in the future. It's an all-in-one, so if your engine breaks, the whole car has to go back in, or if anything breaks on the car, it has to all go back in at once. But you have to call the Genius Bar first to make sure that your car is actually not working. And if you've had an accident, you still have to call the Genius Bar to make sure that they like that you really have an accident, and then maybe they'll let you tow it in. But you can only be towed in by a special Apple truck. And there's only 4 in the whole country, so you have to wait a while sometimes. That would be the Apple Nightmare car.
Well, that's right, yeah. And then that would have the built-in maps there to take you to the wrong place as well.
They would have the Apple Maps.
I didn't say that.
Oh, that's funny. And Siri would only tell you jokes, but they're really bad jokes.
Well, that's right, but it's quite interesting what is going on out there, and you just they like to say never, because you just don't know what they're doing.
But
the
good thing is
looking at a cab but developing something else out of it. You never know.
And the good thing is we need competition out there. Without competition, we don't have any innovation. We don't have anybody doing anything different or better or improving on what's there. If everybody's the same, then it's boring. And so it's good that Apple has competition, and so does Windows and everybody else. By the way, speaking of Windows and Microsoft, their new Xbox One sold 1 million immediately. They're out of stock already. 1 million the first week.
Now, did that new one? Did that have the new Windows 10 on it? Or
No, not yet. No, it's not out until later this year.
Well, I suppose it'll give them a free
Yes.
an option to upgrade easily anyway.
But can you imagine 1 million units in 1 week?
And that's great because I'm really excited about the Windows coming out. Even though I'm a Mac person mostly, but I like it when they do because it'll make the Mac better. Because if, like you said, if there's nobody competing, you'll get nothing.
That's
but
true.
But with this Windows version, it's looking very good. I'm looking at updating one to my current PC.
I know.
So I'll get the new version. And
I'm excited. It's still probably. I think they're saying early fall. I hope it's sooner, but early fall is still 6 months away. So 7 months away. So I hope it's sooner.
Yeah. But it just looks. It's one of these releases that just the way it looks nice because when you get a new version, you just like the looks of things. Even if things are exactly the same, but if they look different, you really get excited about it. So.
I know. So that should be good. Well, I guess we are at the end of our time. We've been going for about 45 minutes, and maybe we'll get a guest next week.
Well, hopefully, let me know, and that'd be great. So.
I think we might. So I'm fingers crossed. We got people lining up. So I'll let you know early next week. But I think we have a guest. We may have Stephen Haywood the week after. He said he can probably do early March. So we'll have him on. And we've got Donna Gilliland. Maybe she can come on next week. So I need to get a hold of her. And
so it'd be good to see Donna with her office background and see if there's any changes.
That's right.
That she knows about with Windows 10 and the Office and with the integration with the subscription and all that. I'd be interested to find out.
There'll be some good stuff happening. So anyway, Jeff, well, you have a great weekend and a wonderful next week. And for all you people watching live, how many people in the chat room today?
None.
None. Oh man, we're breaking records. Do you realize we have gone up 200%?
I asked if anybody's there, and nobody responded.
That's right. For all you people who aren't in the chat room, we really appreciate you being there. And next week, we expect you to actually be there. Now remember,
we'll make it up next week.
yeah. We just need you there. Anyway, and if you're watching the recording, and I know you are because I've seen the numbers, and they're growing by hundreds of percentages every single week, we expect you to click the follow us buttons. They're on top and bottom and all over the place. So follow those buttons. Click us. Follow us. And that means you'll know when we're on. Then you can call us and tell us we're on. It's perfect. It works out just fine. So anyway, well, have a good one, everyone. Jeff, we'll see you next week on Take Down Over. Bye-bye, everyone.